I want to see what they do with the front court. They got some work to do there. Gafford and who else?
I think you definitely try to build around Gafford, though. He's not somebody who you got to give a ton of money to.
No, I mean he's making 13 now. That's probably what he's going to make for the rest of his career. He's not like, breaking, like he's not like exceeding what he's making. I'm thinking somebody like a wing, like a Ken Whitmore now. If he falls, you know what I mean. I'm not sure they go point guard. So it looked like Anthony Blackflow for a long time though, but I don't think that's their. They're going to do that because I don't think
getting Jordan might move him out of having to get that guard.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Well, I mean, like Osar and Amin, them niggas is I like how they play together. So I don't even know how they're gonna play, on a separate team. I was just watching. I was just watching whole games. Sometimes was go hard.
Yeah, that's why I said I wanted them. Oh.
Yeah, they tough, bro. So I don't know, but I don't know how they play separate. To me, that's an interesting storyline. Like just to watch, for the rookie season, to see how they're gonna play separately. But I mean, they're both really good players on their own shore. They got the measurables and all that to prove it. But I'm really interested in.
What up? It's your boy T.
Yeah, it's your man B.
You want to ride up?
Yes, sir.
Season 4.
Episode 5.
Episode 5. Finally.
Yes, sir. Apologies in order.
We back.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Ain't nothing like a little time off. We took years off before. It's all good.
Facts. Super facts. It's episode 5. Who you want to get? This is the basketball, but I know we're going to talk about Wizards a lot. So I mean, there's a number of that we could give it to, but I want to hear your thought on it.
I want to hold. It's a lot going on, dog. It's a whole lot going on. I'll say this. I'll start with this, right? Going into this off season, one of a colleague of mine was like, "Yo, y'all trading Bradley Beal this year?" ? I'm like, "Nah, we're not trading Brad." I said, plus, he was speaking hypothetically, like, plus he had a no trade clause. So I don't see where Bradley could get traded to that he would waive the no trade clause. And I wake up, because I wake up late, and get this news Bradley Beal is traded. And I'm like, how? Yeah, we're hearing these rumblings for is he gonna get traded to Miami, Sacramento, And then Phoenix came out of nowhere. And I thought that was real interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix, how could he possibly get traded to Phoenix? And I feel like every time it seems like there's no way you can get traded, they can get traded to a team that already got people getting a lot of money.
Right.
The team that they end up playing for. Right?
Yeah.
Even when you go back to LeBron with Miami, it's like, how's LeBron gonna make it to the Miami? They already got, you know what I'm saying? Then they get, okay, Miami got 3 of them, right? Then years later you get KD taking interviews. He might believe in OKC, and they got these 5 teams. Those 5 teams, Golden State wasn't one of those teams on the list. You would have thought about Golden State because they had what you would consider a stacked team already, and you naturally think the money don't make sense.
Right.
And he ended up on Golden State. It's like, how could you afford all these players on your team?
Mm-hmm. They got rid of one.
Bye, Harrison. Draymond probably helped that boy pack his bags. So then you fast forward, and we're in 2023 when you have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Kevin Durant. There's no way he's going to Phoenix. Somebody just throwing it out there. Or they just Chris Paul, but who would take Chris Paul? That's not enough. And and they don't really got great picks, and they gonna be good for a little while. So I don't know if I take their picks. And then boom, you get traded to the Suns, and they get Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and an undisclosed amount of second-round picks.
6 second-round picks and 4, like the official right now is 4 first-round swaps, 6 second-round picks. I think including 1 this year, and then Shamet.
Now, when that trade first came across the desk, I could probably speak for a lot of Wizards fans, and we were. I don't know if we were necessarily all angry. We were just, I guess our emotions were confused, because it's like, how in the heck do we not have first round picks coming our way like immediately,
right,
to recover from losing Bradley Beal,
right?
And I said this. I said, you know what? I'm upset today, but I'm gonna let it. We're gonna play this out, and then tomorrow we're gonna come back. And most people that I value their opinion on this game and what happens in the off seasons, most of us, let it sink in and looked at the bright side and the potential future. And I'm all smiles now. Like, yes, we have a lot of time where we base our what's going to be and what can happen on potential. We get a lot of ifs, ands.
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of ifs, ands with this team. And obviously, when you draft and when you getting a bunch of second round picks, that's a lot of ifs, ands on the surface. But then you think about, they got rid of a contract that was going to handcuff you to, unless Bradley Beal just morphed into an actual superstar,
right?
You're still going to be maybe make a playoff team,
right?
As currently constructed, because you weren't going to land any other big fish. You didn't have the money for it,
and you're failing at the draft.
And the veterans that would have come, you'd have had a chance to come. You really didn't have the capital to get them or the cachet to get them, because the team isn't good enough.
Right.
You don't have any money, and you don't have the money to outbid one of the contenders. And now you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So I think like you're saying, like I was one of those accept fans. I don't know if anybody's reading my tweets, but I kind of went off when they traded Bradley Beal. It's not because I I didn't want them to trade Bradley Beal is because we all saw this train coming. Like 3 years ago, when they traded Wall, we said, okay, just, let's just tear it down. If we're not going to run it back with Wall, all right, I'll accept that. You know what I mean? Let's tear it down. We got that Westbrook contract. They can, maneuver that, which they actually did not because of the team being smart, because Westbrook wanted to get out the next year. And then, so once Westbrook said, okay, so let's fast forward again. Bill's still on the team. They play with Westbrook. They get to a play-in. Westbrook doesn't want to play anymore in Washington. Then again, that could have been another time that you say, okay, let's get off of Bradley Beal's original max, not the super max. This is not even the super max at this time. And let's break it down and they start over. Let's start over. They didn't do that again. So they break down Westbrook's contract with a decent trade. You know what I mean? It's got talent. They started off really, really well actually that year. I was on here drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes, you were.
For the first day, and this is like the first time ever like went in like thinking they was going over the top, be good and all this stuff. Like so, like that's one of the first times I was very, very happy with the direction, and it just folded. It just crumbled, and you can see like not only like the desperation from their front office with trading Spencer Dinwiddie, and then Montrezl Harrell, and they had to get off the Bertans trade, which they did flip for Porzingis, which was a good trade at the time. But it just doesn't add up when you can't draft. You can't draft. So like,
I give you this stuff before you finish. I give you this.
Mm-hmm.
These two of those players that you was counting on to be good pieces, and as they should have been, ended up playing on a championship team a year later.
Yeah.
Being pieces that you saw them being on the Wizards.
Yeah, yeah,
and because you was selling me on Thomas Bryant and then KCP.
I mean, that was a terrible trade. Monty Morris and KCP, Monty Morris and Will Barton for KCP was a terrible trade, and that's probably that's one of the ones that got him fired. I think like this whole last 18 months is what got Tommy Shepard fired. Like he couldn't draft. He hasn't had a hit draft for real. Like Denny's okay. All right. You know what I mean? And Rui was, Rui had a low, they all were low ceiling, high floor guys. And they were all, performing to their floor. And we all do that. And this is just the after effects of it. So like, trade Bill. I don't hate Bill. I didn't hate Bill. I didn't understand signing him to the Supermax, and I definitely didn't understand like giving him no trade clause. But he's come to symbolize the ineptitude of this of that front office, and now we have Winger and Dawkins. We haven't talked to since all of this is gone down. So we have not expressed our thoughts on Winger and Dawkins and Schlenk from Atlanta. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. That's a great three-headed monster. To me, like you get a guy that was a Golden State scout, in that farmhouse that has been developed. Like they've drafted and developed guys. I know everybody haven't been there for 20 years, but shit, since Monty Ellis, Hubert Arenas, they've been finding guys. Like they've been finding guys for 20 years.
Yeah.
Then you go get somebody from OKC, organization. You get guys from winning in smart organizations. And to me, that's all good. That's what I wanted in 2019.
Yeah, I don't understand how this didn't happen in the first place.
It should have. And everything that Leonsis said, like I was in on every interview. Like I listened to Leonsis and Winger and Dawkins that whole week. And it's like everything Leonsis said was like, dog, you didn't realize this in 2019? Like, where were you? You know what I mean? Anyway, I've crushed Leonsis enough on this podcast also. So we're here now.
Oh, so since you're on Leonsis, somebody posed a question of how do you feel about Leonsis buying the Nationals?
Uh, if you give what's the Nationals is what's happening to the Nationals right now is they don't have the capital, they don't have the money to keep guys in the system. So you gotta let Juan Soto's go.
They got the money, they don't spend the money.
They're not spending them. Okay, so I'm saying like if whoever the new ownership is, they just need to let the purse, open up the wallet. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? My guy Rizzo over there does a fantastic job. He had a couple down years, a couple of years where drafting probably didn't, manufacture, the good, as good a product. But it's like he's still one of the best, in my opinion. He's gonna get a job immediately if he gets fired.
Okay. I
So
want to see how much you dislike Ted. So okay, so you wouldn't be opposed to him taking over the baseball team. All right,
Ted wouldn't be buying the team. Monumental Sports would be buying the team, and I'm not totally against Monumental Sports owning the baseball team.
All right, so let's get back to Wizards talk.
No, I mean we haven't talked about any of this in months. Also, shout out to Mass and having to give the money they've been robbing the Nationals for 10 years. You know what I mean? 100 mil.
MLB should be ashamed of themselves for this shit, but fine.
Spending, that's part of the reason. But anyway, let's get back to the Wizards. Yeah.
All right, so we get Bradley Beal shipped out.
Mm-hmm.
And before that even cools off, we get new news. Oh, Kristaps Porzingis is getting traded. And the initial trade had us sending him to the Celtics for a pick.
Mm-hmm. Marcus Morris. Yep.
And then later on in the evening, news came out that the deal fell through.
Yep.
And then at the 11th hour, found out the deal did go through.
Another deal went through.
And man, I just watched a lot of Boston Celtics fans sound like Wizards fans when we traded John Wall. A lot of them were just shocked and upset about
letting Marcus Smart go.
Seeing Marcus Smart go.
Mm-hmm.
And I tease them a little bit, but I understand like you get certain guys with like you just naturally just think they're gonna be there. You think they're gonna be there for a while. I mean, he was the defensive player of the year a year ago. So, and he's been an integral part of that team, but hey, they're
about to get Jaylen Brown $300 million. So they have to come up off some salary. They're probably gonna have to make another painful move. They're gonna have to maybe give up a pick for to get rid of Al Horford. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with the Celtics. They're still gonna be good. They still got Tatum. They're still gonna have Brown.
So you're convinced they're gonna give him the money?
I wouldn't. So I'm not convinced of anything. I wouldn't give anybody $300 million. Especially not Jaylen Brown. Like he's like me, like a Bradley. Like that's like giving Bradley Beal the $250. So it's like I wouldn't give a player of that level a supermax. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, like if all power to them. If they think they can make it work, I don't think it works long term. You probably have a window for that. So it is what it is. Especially with the new CBA, because this apparently the CBA is built for you not to be able to make the team. So we'll the taxes, luxury tax is harder. It's tight. It's a tighter, harder cap, and we'll see what happens with it. And that's what Wizards are actually trying to prepare for. And that's a sound strategy, even though we can't see the fruit of that until the actual CBA comes along. Them trying to prepare for it makes all the sense in the world. We'll see. There's a lot of will speak right now, man. They like 3 or 4 moves. Man, what? And we haven't got no talk to them. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the dust settles and how maneuvers and so.
like I said, 11 o'clock hour last night, we moved KP.
Yep.
Get a pick. A second round pick, but a pick nonetheless. And then today,
having 2020, 35 and 2023, I like that. I like being in the top 40 in this particular draft. I wouldn't, if the 2024, I'd been like, man, get that out of here. But 2023, getting 35 pick, I'm with it.
We came into finalizing the time and date for episode 5 with just the Bradley Beal trade official and rumors of KP. And then within us stamping we were going to do it today, we get the KP trade and literally a half hour going into pre-production of the episode.
Another shoot
Wink
drop.
has already moved Chris Paul. You know, you had some people saying, "Oh, is he going to hang out?" And it's no
mentor. Yeah, I was like, man, that was 34-year-old Chris Paul with OKC. That's not 38. Chris Paul has maybe 1 year left or two. Like I wasn't buying that. Like, okay, man, yeah, he was not playing either. I don't know why people thought that was going to happen. They was going to, try to strong arm when they couldn't strong arm Bradley Beal to stay here. Yeah, it was that wasn't going to be.
I did not see him going to Golden State. I actually saw maybe a buyout happening.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People say, "Oh, buyouts. Leon's is not going to buy him out." Okay, but I see a trade. However it works, it's going to go. I didn't see him play. Or he get John Wall, which he just sits down for 35, 40 games, and then he gets bought out in February. Like, you know what I mean? He gets John Wall, Houston John Wall, but I did not see him like actually like playing ball in the team and actually putting a jersey on. Oh man. Hopefully
bring back the Wall star.
Is he actually going to get on an NBA team? Like, what happened with the Clippers? Like, I didn't watch enough basketball.
He got bought out, man.
He got hurt?
Yeah, he got bought out.
Yeah, I know he got bought out, but like, was he just not playing? Like, was he not playing well? Like, he was
playing fine. It wasn't his play. I mean, the games I watched, he played fine. It wasn't like he was. I mean, they weren't asking him to be the John Wall from the 2018, 17, you know what I'm saying, Wizards.
Right.
But he was a productive player for their team. But yeah, like he went in there as like third or fourth guy. So it wasn't like they needed him to drop crazy buckets and get a bunch of assists. Hey, come in, run the offense, you know what I'm saying? Get in where you fit in type of game. And that's what he did. So it wasn't like they weren't sold on him. It was just one of those things was like, all right, well, going into the playoffs, like they wanted to retool because once they knew that they were going to probably push for Westbrook, it's like that's less minutes he's going to have.
Right. Hopefully he gets on a team that he can play and show that he actually still has some basketball left in him. And because I'm, you know what I mean. God,
come on home.
Yeah.
Exactly. But like I said, 3:30 today, we get news.
Chris Paul news.
Chris Paul is traded.
Yeah.
To the Golden State Warriors.
That is I wasn't picturing Golden State. I knew that was some trade somewhere, but I ain't know Golden State was going to get in there.
I didn't see them buying out of the Jordan Poole
sweepstakes.
I didn't see that happening so soon.
Oh, I can't. Didn't you see that? Like, if they're gonna keep Draymond, they're gonna extend Draymond. He opted out. They're gonna have to give him some money. Don't you like? I can't believe they still don't. They still have they resolved all of that happened last year. Like, even in the playoffs, Jordan Poole didn't seem to be in sync with his teammates. So I just I didn't see that being resolving other than one of those guys was going to go and it wasn't going to be Draymond. So it was what it was. It was on the wall to me for the little I know of Golden State, but because I honestly have not been paying as much attention because how the Wizards were being run just put me off of like a lot of keeping up with it. So, but I'm happy. I'm good now, man. I'm gonna be,
We got Jordan Poole, Tyus Jones, and a bunch of second-round picks going into the future.
exactly. But
I don't think Gallinari or Muscala will be playing a lot of, if any, games in Wizards jerseys.
I don't think so. I mean, they might. Danilo might play some minutes and Muscala, I guess, but they're not going to be long-term guys. They're just here because their contract is going to expire next year. So,
no, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't play here long. They may not survive this storm, bro.
Oh, they might flip them. I'm not putting nothing past these guys now. They done trade Chris Paul they got actual assets for him, and I don't see, I think they're gonna try to get back into the first round of this draft, this specific draft, the 2023 draft, and I don't see everybody on the table now. Like,
answer me this.
Yep.
How the hell is Gallinari still in the league?
I don't know, man.
He played in like 4 years.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a long, long time. I think, did he sign a 5-year deal? Because then that might make sense. He signed a 5-year deal, then he got hurt, and he's been hurt like off and on for a long.
And that's no shot at him. Like, I'm not saying that he need to. I'm just saying I literally just haven't seen. Like, I thought he was gone. I thought he was tired or just washed out the league.
Yeah, I think he's been injured. He was injured last
year. And he was like a promising, like he had potential to be like a bucket.
Yeah, he's a player. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, the injuries, I think, is taking its toll. So we'll see what happens with him. But you might be right. They might flip any of those guys they got, Landry Shamet, they might flip him. They might flip Dayla Wright. They might flip Monty Morris. They might flip, whoever else is on. I don't even remember. I need to go look at the roster again. I'm familiar about the roster right now. So, Denny. They might flip Denny. Who knows? Like, he's about to turn into that Ruiz period where he's like, do you extend them? Do you not extend them? How much money do you give a guy that's kind of mid like he is? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be shocked at anybody going. So I just want to see it's like a merry-go-round right now, and I want to see how it ends, man. It's a Russian roulette table, and the ball is still spinning. So we'll get it. I just want to see how it all plays out. What the actual what they want their basketball team to look like. You know what I mean? What kind of guys do they want on a team? Of course, they want athletes, ball players. Like, they want how do they want to play basketball? You know what I mean? Like the culture that they're going to try to put together. So, very interested to see how they put the 23-24 team together, knowing that's probably not going to be the one that contends. We might, you know what I mean? I think we might try to they might be able to get, it depends on what else they do. I don't think they're trying to bottom out. Like people saying, oh, it's a rebuild. They're going to tear it down to the frames. I don't think they're trying to bottom out, though. I don't think they're going to try to win 15 games. I think they're still going to try to not try. They're going to put a team talented enough to win 30 to 35, with some luck, 30 games. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But they not. I don't think they're tanking, like trying to get the top 3 spot tank.
Yeah, like we aren't, like, I think some people are just using the term tanking and rebuilding like they're the same thing. Rebuilding and tanking aren't the same.
That's true.
To try to get the first pick or the top 3 picks and draft somebody, like, I don't see that happening, because if they were tanking, this isn't the way you tank.
Right.
Like, if you're going to tank, then you don't do it like this, not primarily.
Right.
Like the way they're going, and some of it is timing. And I guess timing works in your favor. Like, I don't know that Tommy had the foresight to do what Winger is doing right now. Just like I don't see that Grunfeld had the foresight to do what Tommy did. Like, I don't see Grunfeld making that deal with John Wall for Russell Westbrook. I don't see him doing some of those things.
I don't know how he was going to move him, but even if Grunfeld was the guy in charge, he was going to get moved because of that. Yeah, that was more about that gang sign video than anything else. Leonsis made that call. You know what I mean? So Wall was about to go. Wall had to leave. They just found, they found the Westbrook, trade and made it happen. But
so that's you feel like that was the reason he got traded.
Absolutely. Yep.
I feel like that just made it easier for them to make the trade, not necessarily the catalyst for it.
That makes sense. Maybe.
I think him sitting on the sideline getting paid all that money for 2 years is the biggest reason.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
People get over shit that ain't it's not criminal.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, people forgot what he was, and maybe he couldn't be that guy again. So, I mean, we see it now that I don't think he can be, but he's still a really damn good player, and he affected wins when he was on the court. Like, that's the difference between, in my opinion, if we're going why Bradley Beal was not as beloved as John Wall was. He didn't affect wins, and I don't know what it was and why it is. It just wasn't the same. It wasn't the case. And when you're not a hyper athlete like John Wall is, that you don't produce these electrifying plays like he did, you're just gonna be a player. Like, people are gonna just take it like, oh yeah, Bradley Beal is a good player. Yeah. But if you're not producing wins, nobody's gonna care that you're a good player. It's like Shareef Abdul-Rahim. What? Like, it's just what this.
The one game winner that Bradley Beal had that stuck out in my mind was against Orlando Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was in overtime or we might have go overtime. It was like maybe 4 seconds left in the game, and John inbounds the ball, and he throws a oop to Bradley Beal from an inbound pass.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley catches the oop. That was probably my favorite Bradley Beal moment. And even in that was a John Wall play.
Exactly. He was independent. And I'm trying to count him. I just didn't. He was a $150 million player, and it was a $220 million player when they signed into that pack. It made sense if you could keep the guy with him light, and found that again. Caught up with him, and we saw what it was. That he was the guy. So, let's move on. We're a couple hours. We're 2 hours. 2.5 hours away, I guess.
Yeah, we're getting close.
And we can talk a little bit because I have a favorite for the 8th. Hopefully,
is the person who you are favoring still the same? Was it a BPA situation, or I just like this guy, I think it was a good fit based on the roster at that time? And is it the same person now, being as though the roster looks completely different?
It's the same guy. I like this guy, but I didn't know he was gonna. I thought he was gonna get drafted earlier. But there's kind of some rumbling at fall, and it was Cam Whitmore. So that's the guy I was kind of focused on. Super, one of those hyper athletic guys, can shoot, can score from anywhere, dunk on people. That's who I want. You know what I mean? Thompson kids. I like Kobe Buffer. I like Anthony Black. I just like his shot. When you're playing, it don't look consistent. It don't look consistent. I don't think you can get that off in NBA. So that's projection. So he might be able. I'm not trying to wish nothing ill will get. And if we happen to pick him, I'm a root for that. I don't know if he can get that shot off.
So
good,
I asked that question. The reason why I asked it is because I feel like, man, granted, we clearly don't see the forest through the trees when it comes to what Winger's doing in Washington.
Right. There's still
or where he's heading, where he's directing his team to go. So I can only go off of, okay, well, he doesn't have a bona fide, this is the guy we're going to stake it around. And that person may not be on the roster yet. So we need to be putting at least just the best roster together. So you got to go with the best player available, right?
Right.
Anthony, we pick 8. And Anthony Black, in my opinion, isn't the 8th best player in the draft.
Okay.
He's around there. Yeah. And you could get cute and dance around that 7th through 12th, 13th guy. And a lot of times they're usually around the same talent-wise.
Right.
But you saying you like Cam, if we're going off best player available, Cam won't be available at 8.
You think he's gone, right?
Yeah, most definitely, because he's listed as like the 4th or 5th best player available.
That's what they're saying. But also saying he's going to drop, but that might be like rumors to try to get his value, whatever. So we, how that goes. Whatever. So yeah, okay.
What you gotta always keep in mind is that some of these franchises think they're they think they're smart and they got cheat code, and somebody always pops up with some random Euro guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like when was the last, like outside of like Kristaps Porzingis, when was the last foreign guy that you didn't see getting drafted early? They got drafted early, and like the team is rewarded for being smart. Like it's not Luka, because we knew Luka was already slated to be a top guy and should have went number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So where's that guy? I mean, people want to talk about Jokic and all that. Come on, Jokic was the one thing about Jokic. Jokic is like Tom Brady when it comes like look, he's big, he's slow, You just overlooking actual skills and ability to do the game, play the game.
Right.
They looked at Tom Brady's measurables because they weren't in love with his body. Like that's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that man like a wet paper bag. They think he can't throw a football. Like, you don't make it to Michigan without being able to throw the football, but whatever.
So okay. You got okay. Let me pick out how I'm seeing it. Victor Wembanyama is gonna be number 1, right? Of course, on the track.
Yeah.
Scoot, they just said Scoot this is probably pick for the Hornets. So most like that's how what was saying.
Scoot number 1, but okay.
That's they saying you're saying one Scoot, and that's perfectly fine. Scoot, really good pick. They saying so that makes Brandon Miller to me the number 2 guy, right? So he's going to Brandon Miller goes to Portland. So that the where the question mark start to come in is that. So who's that for again? Sorry, you have let's up on the screen.
So they got. I've heard. I think that the Hornets might end up taking Brandon Miller, and Scoot goes to Portland.
So we'll see, because I saw a couple of people saying they settled on Scoot. I'm interested. That's interesting. Right. I think either way, Brandon Miller goes 2 or 3 and Scoot 2 or 3. So that's
both of those go 2 or 3. Brandon and Scoot go 2 and 3. Like Scoot might sneak into 1 depending on what San Antonio does, but I think it's Vic. I think it's Vic, Scoot. Vic, Brandon, and Scoot. That's how it's gonna go. I think that's how it's gonna lay down.
Okay. I know. I mean, you can't go on Scoot or Brandon Miller. Hopefully that whatever was going on with that shooting gets cleared up for Brandon Miller. I know there was some different reports about how involved he actually was with it. So it is, but Rick prayers to the victim of that young lady's family. So
Rockets going number 4.
Who?
The Rockets have number 4 pick.
Okay. So where do you think they're gonna go?
I think they can. To be honest with you, I think the Rockets are in position to take BPA as well. Like a lot of these guys, could take BPA.
Right.
Right?
So who's BPA to you? Like, is the Thompson twins BPA at 4?
I think the Rockets take Amon Thompson.
Thompson, yeah.
I think they take Amon.
Okay. All right. So at 5, we got
you got the Pistons taking 5.
And they have Cade. They got some wings over there. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about where the Pistons are as a team. They also have Troy Weaver, another OKC, disciple. So how do you feel like that carries? I think this is going to be his first draft. Is it? Did he get signed up early last year? I'm not positive, but that's going to be interesting. I think I don't see an order after those 3. I don't see a definitive order. So like I guess he could go Cam. Like, they can go Cam at 5. They can go Cam at 4. He's that good. I'm a big fan of Cam Whitmore. I'm hoping he drops to 8. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's how I felt about Scoop. So
Scoop's not getting that.
Well.
Scoop would, even if Portland didn't pick him, like, he wouldn't get past 4. Definitely not. You know what I mean? So Detroit, Orlando's at 6. That's who a lot of people are saying Anthony Black's going to, but we'll see. Indiana at 7. Nobody in this can turn down an athlete that is just heads and shoulders above another athlete. So, like, whoever they got number 1 on their board, it should not be relegated to position. That's including Washington, of course. And then Utah, Dallas, that rounds out the top 10. Dallas with a top 10 pick, man. They need to hit on that one.
So here's the thing, though. So based on NBA.com, you got a good shot at landing Cam based on what they're saying, because they're saying that at 8 we'd be taking Sor Thompson at 8.
Okay, I wouldn't be mad.
And Utah taking Cam at 9.
I would take Cam over Asar, but okay. Because at this point, say you get Asar plays what? Like, he's a guard, right? So, like,
shooting guard and small forward.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so he's a small wing. He'd be small at the 3, to me. I like Cam Whitmore, his size, athleticism. I just don't. I'm a big fan. So even if Asar is there, I wouldn't pick him. But that's just me. But I wouldn't. If they pick him, I'm not going to be mad. He's a good player. The Thompson twins is really, really good. I wouldn't be mad at it all.
So Bleacher Report has, excuse me, they have Bilal Coulibaly. If I said I might have butchered that last time, I ain't gonna hold you. I might have butchered it.
I think that's actually pretty good because I can't pronounce his name at all. I've heard it too. Heard it a couple times now.
That joint. But he's not even on the draft board right now. Like, he's not on the draft rankings right
now. I expect him to get into this. He's a foreign guy, French guy. I think he's good. Just off his traits, he's gonna get drafted.
He plays with Victor.
Yeah, top of 10, 11.
And so that's one of those things what I'm saying, where you got one of these guys where they're not on the main boards, and he jumping into the draft. Not saying that he can't be good. I mean, at number 10, it's not as dicey as a top 3, top 5.
Right.
But I mean, I just overall, I just know guys. I mean, I think maybe Powell was, but even going into the draft, Powell wasn't expected to get drafted that high. It wasn't until the Grizzlies was like, "Hey, yo," they shipped out. The Grizzlies was sold on him and shipped out Sharif Abdul-Rahim to get that 3rd pick to make the trade.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just this is probably one of the most interesting drafts, deepest drafts in a long time. Most interesting drafts after the uh first pick. Even the decision to draft Victor is going to be interesting because you know 7-1 kid. We've been talking about NBA circles have been talking about him for like 3 years now, and yeah, I don't know. I see it. I see what people are saying. He's 7-1, can dribble outside. He can defend. He can jump out on the perimeter. Uh, I just I have reservations a little bit, not a tiny bit about him. Just because guys that tall just kind of come off fragile to me. And just because he's a big guy doesn't mean he's the best. I like Scoot a lot.
Man, they chasing KD, yo.
Yeah, sure. He's got those traits. I mean, he can shoot that well, or almost that well, and we'll see what happens. Not gonna go one way or the other with him. I'd have reservations, but 7-1, man, you can shoot outside like that? Can't hard to pass up. It's hard to pass up. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Do you think that the Wizards can get into the back into like another top 20 pick, top 25 pick? I think they're gonna try.
You know what? I don't know that they really need to.
Okay.
I don't really see a lot of people with this. I don't see a lot that's like saying you have to.
I think one of the things that says I actually do think you have to, because one of the things that says that to me is how badly projecting the 2024 draft is going to be. Like people are super down on the 2024's draft. So I mean, of course, you can find people in every draft, but the last draft I remember, like people being so down on was the Otto Porter draft. That was obviously really like. I wouldn't want to stack picks to try to get in high in the 2024 draft just to get a role player in the top 3. That doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, that's the other reason why I'm with you when you say they're not thinking like trying to get to that, trying to bottom out, because it doesn't make any sense to try to bottom. Other than they might try to be protecting their pick to the Knicks. You know what I mean? Because I know that I think the next 2 years it's top 10 and then top 12 protected. So they might be trying to, protect their pick, but they're not trying to bottom out. They're going to be fun to watch. Jordan Poole is going to be fun to look, and attend the game live. And whoever this first round pick is, to me, electrifying.
Let me put this on your desk.
Okay.
You you trade Bill and get rid of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Then you inherit Paul,
right?
By the grace of God, and get Jordan Poole. I'm not convinced Jordan Poole is a Wizard next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Poole gets traded at the draft. I mean, you know why?
All bets are
rebuilding. All bets are rebuilding. Why do you take on, like, you got 4 point guards, 5 shooting guards? You know what I'm saying? You got nothing but backcourt players, who are all around the same talent level. And Jordan Poole had, I don't know if he's at $27.9 million a year, he's your guy.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case. So I'm gonna say this: don't be surprised if Jordan Poole gets traded tonight for an early lottery pick this year.
I don't know if somebody's gonna go that somebody high is gonna try to buy him.
Jordan Poole is a bucket. There are teams right now who are convinced that they are right there.
Nobody in the top 10.
Let's see. Let me spit out a couple of teams that could probably use Jordan Poole for a bucket right now. Off the top of my head, Chicago.
Okay, but they're trying to get off of like Zach LaVine's contract. So I
So
don't.
trade Zach LaVine, take on Jordan Poole. Somebody gets a pick somewhere. Oh wait, I know who can get the pick. Us. You can give. Listen, you can give us Chicago's pick, and whoever else takes on LaVine. Thank
So
you.
I would say, like, I don't know what Orlando's team is doing in their backcourt, but they do have the 6th pick and the 11th pick. Do they think they should get a veteran, a guy like like you said, Jordan Poole, to, you know what I mean, like, to, somebody that can get a bucket in the NBA?
I didn't think this trade or this move out. So don't hold me to it. It's just off the top of my head. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, yo, you traded Chris Paul, who making 30, for Jordan Poole, who's making damn near 30, and you've been aggressive on a rebuild. I don't know he's saying. I don't know that anybody that's coming in. Maybe Muscala, if he's not making a lot of money and he's like a vet that comes off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you even like. What's the point of keeping Gallinari if he ain't gonna be healthy anyway? But you never know. I don't know what his money looking like. So those two men, Shamet, you don't need Landry, Shamet. Like you got him on your team already, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So none of those guys like, oh yeah, those are short-term guys regardless of what they do. But Jordan Poole at 29, 27, 28 mil, that's
yeah,
that's a movable asset right there.
Yeah, I hear you saying. Like, nah, that's a good size contract. You can try to like make numbers work with somebody else and then get it. So, I would say to anybody that came over the last 36 hours, don't unpack your bags. And if I was on the team still, I'd be like, do I need to pack my bags? I'd be asking my agent if I need to pack my bags. Like, because
nobody's safe.
No one is safe.
Like you want like there's a part of you that want to say, okay, maybe Denny and Corey are safe for a year to see what type of league they. But no, y'all ain't safe either.
Nope, I wouldn't say they were safe.
Winger came in that joke like Thanos. I'm 38. I'm not Thanos. My man snapping his finger. Everybody gone.
Yeah, nah. It looks like they're just gonna move all the chairs around until they figure out what they want, and they're trying to. What it looks like. Also, while people are saying, "Oh, the strategies to try to, get under the cap enough so they can have some flexibility to take on some bad contracts to get some feature first." I think also part of the strategy is to like just have layer firsts and seconds, layer them, like, you know what I mean? Just to have the opportunities to get higher in the draft, all these swaps, all these seconds, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to have a sustained, like, they're not going to pay a guy that's, okay, 15 million when they can find another, guy in that second that can probably fill that role for 6 or 5 or 4, you know what I mean? And draft. So, like, I think that's where they're going with it. So they got 6 picks. They got I think 7 now. I think because like Golden State is giving them a couple. So 6 picks over the next 4 years. In the second round, they got some swaps. They got protected in 2030. I think they're trying to layer. Like, okay, now we need reinforcement. Now we need, you know what I mean? They're trying to rely on the draft to keep replenishing their role players or try to, you know what I mean, build up enough assets to if they need another piece after they've built what they think they have, you know, as a contender to try to move into, championship level. So it's interesting. It's been an interesting phase, man. We've been all over the news for the first time in a long time. Wizards, everything. Whether you like the trades, love, hate the trades, love the trades. Everywhere they're jumping in. and they're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. They got to draft well too, man. They just got that's the end all be all. They got a hit on this guy. They really have a hit on one of these second round picks. They got 3. They might consolidate. We'll see, but yeah, man, interesting future. I'm watching. I'm watching now. I'm back in. So I want to see what happens. I'm definitely going to get to it because I want to see Jordan Poole live. He's fun to watch when he's on. When he's on, he's fun to watch. Even though I think they're gonna lose 50 games. I think they're gonna lose 50, but it's better. Like to me, like they lost 50 last year. Bradley Beal, Porzingis, and you know what I mean, like that's not fun. Like we know that team's not going nowhere. Now, like okay, they're gonna make some moves. They're gonna, they got some momentum, got some assets and draft capital, and maybe we can make some another move until it gets right. But what they were doing before the last 4 years was not it. And I'm glad that they got off that ship. For real. And they definitely have. Hated to love it. They definitely changed directions. So, man, what you got? What you think, man?
Man, I think this is a great. This is one we haven't had a chance to talk about. I had a reason to talk about the Wizards.
Yeah, no, we talk about ball. Yeah, man, like what they were doing for the last 2 years, I just couldn't. I can't get jiggy with that shit, man. Can't get jiggy with
it. So let's switch gears.
Yes, sir.
Nah. Hey, goodbye.
Where are you going with that one? Goodbye to who?
Dan Snyder. We haven't talked since we
haven't talked about that since. Oh wow, yeah. Peace out, Dan. Fuck you too. Man, what a piece of trash. Like,
let me say this before you get into it. We asked for this motherfucker though.
That's crazy.
Do you remember when Jack and Cook passed away?
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for owners for this team, and his son was one of the finalists.
Yes.
And we was like anybody but him. We ain't know shit about him. We just didn't feel like he had the passion for it.
Right.
We were young and dumb.
Yeah.
We were young and just fucking dumb.
But the funny thing is, it wasn't even supposed to be Dan Snyder. It was supposed to be this dude named Milstein. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it was just a part of his ownership group. For some reason, they didn't want Milstein in the group no more. And it just ended up where Dan Snyder was just the last man standing.
Yeah, I wonder if he had something to do with that.
You know what? I maybe. You know, I think he's just a con artist. Dan Snyder's a con artist. He ran this organization like a fucking frat house. He was fake. He tried to tell us that he was about winning when he wasn't. He just ran a disorganized, dysfunctional crime organization for 20 years. And
a crime organization? What were the Dallas Cowboys? Shit.
Like it's a shame that we can't look at the Dallas Cowboys and like look at what these clowns are doing over there, illegal and snorting coke and all this shit. We had a Dan Snyder owner that was paying himself, one of the only owners that paid himself a salary, made the team buy the logo. He ends up not being able to pay the dividend to his minority owners, and that's what got the Redskins name off the that kicked off the, you know what I mean, what reality was with them changing the name. Just a mess. And I'm glad it's almost done. In a couple weeks, we should be getting this vote. And I'm glad it's almost done, man. I'm gonna pop a bottle to that, for real. It's been. I don't understand what took so long.
Adios, muchachos.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck you, Dan. Bye. Like,
adios, muchachos.
You out of here. I mean, we'll see what that means for the team. They need a new stadium, new everything, headquarters, and there's a lot of politics involved with all that. You know what I mean? Maryland, you know, they're trying to reinvigorate Central Avenue, or invigorate. They never did anything with it, so now they're trying to do something with Central Avenue. You know, RFK might be on the table. That'd take a lot of that would take a lot to do. It might be on the table if the DC can get the land. And Virginia, they were talking about Loudoun, maybe not Loudoun, maybe too expensive. They talking about Woodbridge, which is crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway,
I'm not interested in the team being that far out, man.
No, I'm not either. I don't think anybody should be. Like
it's no way that the Washington team should be a further travel for us than the Ravens.
Right. And like people are saying, oh, you know, it's been in Maryland this time, that third, now it can be Virginia. But like Woodbridge is 45 minutes for someone in Arlington. In Arlington, Virginia, it's 40 minutes, and that's with no traffic. And there's always traffic. There's never a time it's not traffic. So you want to make one of the worst traffic areas worse by putting a team or the stadium that they're talking about. This stadium is like 365 day a year event, like hub, the entertainment hub. And you want to make that traffic much worse. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
my thing is this. This is what I was saying. The stadium was once considered one of the top stadiums when it first got built. Time to just surpass it. Wherever you play, you don't have to stay there. Find somewhere else to play. Fix your stadium. My thing is, I don't like the fact that you have the traffic and then you don't have the experience.
Right.
You can't have both of them being shitty.
Exactly.
So and you got three phases. You have the travel crappy, because either you getting gouged on the prices of parking. You know, when it first started, they had the situation with Metro. I feel like it was a lot smoother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it helped camaraderie. You had people on buses riding together, getting ready. It was almost like it was tailgating in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had the situation with Metro. They set up over there, and then Dan ruined that relationship.
Because he wanted everybody to pay $50 for parking.
Ruin that relationship. So then you take the traffic. Then you take the experience inside the stadium, where it's like, hell, I mean, Jalen Hurts should be suing the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the quality of experience.
I can't say too much about the state of that stadium because my employer actually managed, like, not for the last couple of years they've managed. They taken over from whoever was managing it before. So my employer manages the property. I'm just going to say that ownership a lot of times when you talk about real estate, especially commercial real estate, and budgets dictate how those things are kept up.
Yep.
And it's not the guy like me, my job. I'm the face of whether it's good or bad. Like a pipe bust is on. That's my fault, kind of, like for whatever reason. But it's actually the budget from 5 years ago when they probably should have changed all the pipe, and they decided not to for some reason. I don't know the specific, like their budgets are a problem when you think.
But just talking from an enjoyment standpoint, you talking about like quality of facility standpoint, and that's another layer. I'm just talking about the quality of it. Like if I were to go to a Nationals game, and I know it may be a little bit of apples and oranges, but I can only go off of the stadiums I've been to. I've been to Capital One. I've been to Nationals Park. I've been to FedEx, and I've been to the CFG Bank in Baltimore. Those are the ones I've been through recently, and my experience at all of those trump going to a Washington football game, because if you get, sometimes people get the crappy seats. Cool. I shouldn't have to walk 30 minutes to the seat.
Exactly.
Like that's crazy.
No, it's all around. It's just an all around bad experience.
I've never been to another professional football team's arena. So if I'm willing to be stand corrected. If I were to go to another team stadium and get the $30-$40 ticket, which is actually now like $60-$70, which is crazy. Right. And I'm up in the 400s. Is it going to take me 30 minutes to get to that seat? And even though you have concessions up there, at least have my food hot.
The food that's one of the worst things.
Yo, one thing I love about going to the Wizards game, number one, it's an arena and it's indoor, so right. It's warm.
Right.
Yo, every year they have improved on their relationships with the vendors, and they got new vendors. And you got the contract with Washington football team, but I know my employer has, has a couple restaurants
my employer also manages the Capital One Center. I mean, Capital One. They do.
The catalog, Federalist Pig is up in there. I'm not sure what else, but I know Federalist Pig is in there. Shout out to Ted's Bulletin. Shout out to Kramer's Books, Honeymoon, just to name a couple.
Yeah, no, the operation, I would say this, the operation at Capital One Arena all the way around, this is something that I will praise Ted Leonsis and Martin Rental is A1. I'm not sure when he's going to think about trying to get a new stadium or how he's going to upgrade Capital One, because they own that building. But that's coming up on 30 some years now, coming up on 30 years, and that's going to be interesting to see if they try to move.
They've taken good care of that building though.
No, it's still a beautiful building. They do take care of it. Shout out to my employer that takes care of it. I'm not gonna name drop the actual, but if you can look it up if you wanted to Google that too far. But yeah, no, it's a beautiful facility. They do a good job there. It's a very stressful job to keep. They have way more events than first of all, they got hockey and basketball, but then they also have everything else. You know what I mean? Kevin Hart, comedy, whatever, comedy shows, Taylor Swift's, whoever else there. So and wrestling and monster trucks and whatever else. You know what I mean? They had arena football, so there's a lot more events there. Other than that's not like. It's not like FedEx that probably has 2 or 3 events in the summer and nothing much else. But, hopefully with the new stadium, they put a dome on it or some type of retractable roof. and they can, get something like that popping. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. No, I agree. Cap One is a much better venue, with food down to, just getting in the stadium, getting to your seat. Not really the fondest of being in the 400s anymore, but
I don't mind it, man.
I liked when we in the playoff when the playoff that was awesome. I didn't care where I was sitting right at that point. Man, that was fun. That was fun. I hope we can get there again. Like that, I want that. That's what I wanted. I want to see them get back in the playoffs for sure, for sure. But yeah, nah, man, it's Dan's gone. Like, how do you like? That's amazing. You didn't think it's gonna happen, but it's a reality. It's crazy.
I think it was at least 10 years in the making. We was trying to get rid of this guy, so I'm just happy he's gone.
Yeah. It was a wrap once the minority owners kind of dipped out on him, and he needed a loan to get, the rest of the team under his control. I think the league was like, we got to figure out how to get him out of here. They still holding on. They got a report from not Beth Wilkinson, the new Mary Jo, whatever the lady's name, Mary Jo White. They still holding that over his head because it hasn't come out, and it's been almost a year and a half. So we'll see what happens with it. But they must be trying to wait it out. Like, I think they're holding on to it because there's probably some damning information in there, and they just trying to hold out until they get this thing structured where they want it with Josh Harris and everybody else. But man, I'm excited. I'm gonna pop a bottle for real. It's gonna be like winning a championship for sure.
Pop champagne.
It's gonna be. I want to say it's gonna be number 2 to watching the Nationals win. Nationals winning that championship. When he was in the pop. That was really, really fun to watch. Even though that's not one of my favorite sports. Like, if I saw the Wizards win a championship, I'm gonna cry. I'm crying. I'm gonna probably cry for hours.
Man, so you have the Nationals winning over the Capitals winning?
Yeah. I had the Nationals. It was fun. Capitals winning was fun too, though. I love Ovechkin. I'm glad he won. I was very happy to see him get that one off. Like, I'm very happy.
As an adult.
But that probably 3.
Like, so if I rank moments, if we rank in moments, Dan Snyder finally selling the team, it'll rank, but I'm not sure if it'll rank as high for me as it is obviously for you, because that's just disrespecting the great moments that we've like I was watching football when
Oh, wait. So we saying all time, or we saying the last, maybe let's say 10 years?
Okay, last 10 years. All right.
Number 1 is that first Super Bowl I watched, 1991, 92.
That's what I was saying. That's why I was like,
I remember that.
Talk about him.
Yeah. No. So,
but even in watching that, like, the gravity didn't sink in because we didn't get to experience the parade, right? And be honest with you, I can imagine that going to a football parade just don't hit the same as going to a basketball because it's in the winter.
Right.
And it's like here, it's like, well, shit, now it ain't. You never know. It could be winter and still be 60 degrees outside.
Right. January, yeah, exactly.
But like when the Nationals won, that was a great thing. But the Capitals, my relationship with the Capitals, vastly outdates the Nationals. I think I'm probably a little bit more of a baseball fan, consumer wise, than I am a hockey fan, but I'm a Capitals fan. And I've been watching the Capitals play, you know what I'm saying, for a long time.
Yeah, I love the Capitals. That was my first.
All those years of coming up short after, you know what I'm saying, after having a good team in the regular season and then stinking in the playoffs.
Peter Bondra.
The Nationals only gave me one of those years when Gio couldn't get off the mound.
Oh my God.
And I was more so happy that okay, they got more weapons, and then they came back a couple years later. It wasn't like 10 years later, look what you did. They still haven't been here since like what are they like a year 15?
Yeah, it's 2005. Yeah.
Okay, so almost 20 years. Almost 20 years.
Mhm.
But they did it I think they did it in year 15, year 14.
Year
That's
15.
not bad.
Not bad at all.
Like to get your first one, that I mean, don't get me wrong. Watching Vegas do what they do
Mhm.
in the NHL, it's
It's
impressive.
crazy. Yeah, very impressive.
They gave us a run for our money when we played them in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, very,
But
very.
that's the rank for just the way that the great eight, just the way he embraced being a champion and his like, bro, that was like one of the greatest things. Like he showed you how to celebrate.
They went in that whole summer. That whole spring summer, they was going crazy. That joint was everywhere. It was in Ave Morgan. It was on 8th Street. It was on 8th Street.
Yo, and I actually got to experience that parade.
Oh, I see. I didn't get. Okay, so I didn't get to.
That was the all day, everywhere in DC parade.
I'd say okay. So top 3 moments for the last 10 years. I'll go Nationals 1, Dan Snyder 2, Capitals winning 3. It's that much of a like, damn, it's actually happening moment, bro. Like you can't like, owners are supposed to own teams forever until they die. Like he's 50 years old. He's not 50, like 55 years old. You're not going. You shouldn't be going nowhere anytime soon.
It's a good point to say that hey, we would no longer be under this dude's thumb when they normally have to die to lose a team.
Right. Like,
and then they go pass to their family.
Right. Then we got to worry about if this other little Snyder is going to be worse or better than this man. So like, nah, man, it's crazy. And shout out to the Capitals. Like that, it was just a good moment. It culminated like that man's career, like the grade 8, like you said, that was his career. Like all these close calls, all those first round exits, all that, you know what I mean? And even like just me as a fan watching from Peter Bondra to, you know what I mean, like those Jaromir Jagr teams, you know what I mean? It's just that weren't. It was like I do follow not hockey. I follow the Capitals. So it was a good thing. It was definitely a good thing. A good thing for the city. That year was a great thing for the city. Mystics won too. So man, Dan Snyder leaving though, man. That's the tops almost everything, except for the Nats.
I'm excited for. Whoa. I got to add this one.
Okay.
The Mystics, man. The Mystics winning.
Yeah, that's probably 4 because that was a really fun team. I got to watch the finals of that, and that was fun. Elena Delle Donne, superstar. So like, yeah, that was fun. Probably 4. I'm still not even though women's basketball is leaps and heads and shoulders past what we know of it at 92 when it first really got on the scene for kids like us growing up. It's way better. It's way bigger. The kids are way more competitive. There's way more competitive teams in college. Like before, it was just Tennessee and Connecticut for decades. Yeah. Now, like LSU can play, Maryland can play. Brenda Free's still over there doing her thing. You know what I mean? Like Connecticut's still good.
Yeah.
Who they play? No, I just forgot who they beat. Who did LSU beat? But it doesn't matter. Like there's way more teams. There's way more competitive girls. There's they play a really. It's not slash to the rim basketball, but it's really good. It's really good basketball. Like the other part of not the game being not watchable was the shooting percentages. And that has gotten better. All of that, everything about the women's game has gotten since '92, since this kind of got on the scene, kind of has gotten better, like way better.
Just
So
lower the damn rim.
lower the rim. The basketball is smaller. Why not? I don't understand. I don't know why that's sexist. Lowering the rim is sexist, but them having smaller basketballs isn't. That doesn't make sense.
They don't have 4 quarters. They don't play 12 minutes a quarter. There's so many different things that's different. Just lower the rim. We ain't saying lower the foot.
Yeah.
Maybe like 4 inches, maybe. Let's start off there.
Yeah, 6 inches.
Let's start with a quarter of a foot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why that. Somebody would have to explain to me why that's sexist and not having a smaller basketball. But you know, whatever, if they want to play with the bigger rim, that's fine too. But
B-Money, what you got for the people before we get out of here tonight?
Y'all gonna be very, very surprised by the new Kevin Hart special. I'm gonna say that. I saw him live. It was a smaller venue than I saw him live before. Appreciate you, my brother. A few years ago, he saw the What's Next special live. That's his fun. It's his funniest since then, and it's probably better than that.
Okay.
I was hilarious. Naeem is always funny, but like, yeah, it didn't disappoint at all. Not at all. If you didn't like his last 2 specials, you'll tune into this when it comes out. Whenever it comes out, I don't even know when it comes out, but or go see him live. He's still running around. So yeah, Kevin Hart, man, and the Plastic Cup Boys, for what it's worth, that's a good ticket. Like, you know what I mean? Having 3 comedians before him come on that are very, very funny is a good ticket. So yeah, man, Kevin Hart's new special gonna be really fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Season 4, episode 6. Stay tuned. Monday, we're gonna have some Marvel conversations because Disney Plus just launched The Secret Invasion.
Yep.
I get to watch Sam Jackson do some actual TV work now.
Exactly.
Because the last time we thought we was gonna get Sam Jackson, we didn't when he was on when they teased it that he was gonna be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he never came to visit Coulson. But it's all good. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to Secret Invasion.
Absolutely. You watched the first
episode? For some reason, I thought it would be a movie, so I'm not mad at it at all.
You watched the first episode? I caught the first episode.
I was watching it on my way to work, so I got to double back and watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
It looked like it's going to be another one of those one-off seasons where they're set up for things that happen in the movie, sort of like how WandaVision was and
right.
those things. So,
right. Okay. We'll get